Hi, Facebook.
Hey guys.
Happy Sunday, everyone. I am super excited tonight. I'm going to get straight into it because I am super honored to have my guest here tonight. It's the fourth episode of The Couch, and it has been just simply amazing. I've just been so honored to have some phenomenal people share my Sunday nights with me in the last month, and tonight's no different. I get more excited each week that goes by. So tonight I've got a good mate of mine. He's a self-confessed nutrition nerd. He's an elite trainer. He trains trainers, and he's even the co-creator of Metabolic Precision, which a lot of trainers actually train in that method. He's been on front covers of magazines, so he definitely walks his talk. And he's an elite personal trainer. And there's a lot of personal trainers out there, but he's super knowledgeable, experienced, and has a lot behind him. So this is why I'm so excited to welcome this guy. What I love most about him is he's just an awesome guy. You know, you'll speak to him and he's like, yeah, no problem. Everything's easy, and he's super chilled. So I'm excited for you guys to hear from my good friend Lochi tonight. Hey, Lox.
Yeah. Thanks very much for the intro. It's lovely of you. Yeah.
I'm really excited to have you here because I know I've done your programs before, and a lot of my friends have, and using the Isagenix Nutritional System that I've used and a lot of other people have used, and then amplified with your experience and being a trainer and incorporating it into your programs. I'm really excited for what you've got to share tonight. So I guess I've given a very light overview of your real experience. So what I thought is maybe if you just sort of refine that a little bit for me, because I did glaze over it. And not only that, but when you did start incorporating Isagenix into your programs, or into life for yourself, should I say, how did that impact your own training?
Sure. Yeah. Look, I suppose I started in the industry, the fitness industry, in 1998, at the end of 1998. And I suppose I saw so many different, I have seen so many different methods, so many different trends pass through the industry. Some have kept the test of time. Others have sort of been since forgotten. And being handed the Isagenix products, admittedly at the very beginning, I probably put my my skeptic hat on, and I wasn't openly against it, but I just didn't think it was for me. I've never really been adverse to anything that would help people, or that people are passionate about in the fitness and health industry, as long as it's helping people. But for me, I'm good with that. But for me, I thought personally, maybe a supplement wasn't really my thing. I had other things that I would like to focus on, with my training and metabolic precision at the time, and my gym and etc. So I didn't really think that it was necessary. But I had a persistent man who kept at it. With that, I thought, what, there's not really any risk here, and I saw some wonderful results. Sorry, we get an audio change.
You're back.
Okay, cool. Sorry, where did I cut out? So what did we get there?
You weren't so interested in incorporating things at the time for you, but you weren't.
It didn't seem like that it was a good time for me. I seemed very busy, and this friend of mine said, it's the reason why you're so busy. You need to try these. And I thought, okay, all right. And it was a good friend. And so I thought, look, I'd love to support a friend in her new business. At the same time, I'd love to test this out for myself and have an opinion. But it wasn't long before I let my body decide. After only a few days, and after my first cleansing experience, there was something very natural about it that I felt that I definitely needed to take on board myself, and definitely something that I admit that I was missing. Because I mean, look, I had been involved in the supplement industry for quite some time also. I was very passionate about that. So I was certainly no stranger to different sports supplements in particular, whey proteins, different combinations of different proteins, different ergogenic aids, which are aimed at being able to help you lose fat. And, you know, I mean, for me, it was that I immersed myself in that industry. So when I had a chance to be able to experience these products and then take a different look, a different perspective, one that was based on many years of experience and knowing what the difference between a good supplement was and something that was just put on the shelves to make money, I knew very much straight away that this was something that was quite special. So I then gave my clients a chance to be able to experience it for themselves, and they loved it. So and within a very short period of time too, it was quite I suppose it was like a perfect storm. I had clients that I had been training for quite some time that, you know, had worked with the best of what I had. And even up until there, you know, I'd entered a lot of clients through different competitions all over the world, literally. Won a lot of different competitions, both in body transformation and sports modeling and bodybuilding and body sculpting alike. So I already had a method that I felt very confident in. I already had something that I felt that people found very valuable and effective. So when the Isagenix products came along and clients that I'd been training for 4 or 5 years prior got better results when they were on the Isagenix products than the 5 years of the best of what I had, then I really couldn't ignore the fact that the difference really was Isagenix. And I remember going to the Bod Pod, which was a place where we get very exacted numbers on a person's body composition. And I remember the guy who was taking my client's composition for years, he said to me, because he didn't know that I was using Isagenix, because at the time, the place where I used this Bod Pod at was actually the Musashi Center, which is another sports brand supplements. I just didn't even bother mentioning anything. But he said, I don't know what your clients are doing, but whatever they're doing, keep doing it, because these guys are getting phenomenal numbers. And that's the most accurate, what they call a premium standard body composition machine that you can get on par with a $250,000 DEXA machine. So it was very encouraging. So I had clients loving it, sticking to their program, getting visually great results, and then getting the science of it getting backed up as well too. So I was in a great position to be able to say, you know what, this is something that I really want to pursue, and I really feel that that people need to know about.
That's so awesome. You know what I love? How you were skeptical but not cynical, and you had so much success under your belt already, which could have been very easy for you to have been like, I'm good, like my clients are getting great results and winning competitions, but they're still winning competitions, and you're getting a lot of rungs on the board with people you're training now. And
absolutely.
No, I love that, you know, during the week you mentioned that we had a chat and you said, you know, you're looking at you do still educate yourself and look at everything else that's out there, because that's important. And, you know, still to this day, you know, the Isagenix products are, you know, leaps and bounds ahead, and the before and after photos are showing that. I guess, you know, what we hear from a very initial, you know, when we're talking to someone about it, and I'm not going to talk from a competition level, but maybe someone who's, you know, looking to lose weight, they might have, you know, 20, 30 plus kilos to lose. And it's like, oh, well, this is another shake diet.
Yeah.
What do you say to those people? Because there's a lot of shake diets on the market, and there are shakes involved in Isagenix. So what's the difference, and what do you say to those people?
It's a great question. Well, firstly, I personally like to consider supplements to be a complement, not a supplement. Even though I know that's the term we use, I think Isagenix is the best complement to a really healthy diet and a healthy lifestyle. So when someone says, is it another shake diet? The first thing I say is that we love food way too much to make it a shake diet, you know, because ideally that's what we're about, right? We're about being able to have great food, great shakes, and it's a complement to our training and our healthy lifestyle. So, I mean, I would openly then say, listen, if it were a shake diet, I wouldn't be interested, you know, because we should never really think of it as a replacement for food. It works in synergy with food to be able to get you the best result.
Mm. I've actually got a question further down where I wanted to ask, people who say, oh, I like real food. And I
Yeah,
must say, I've never eaten more in my life than when I was using Isagenix in conjunction with your program.
yeah.
I've never eaten so much in my life between Josh and I. Our fridge was jam-packed with,
Yeah.
we were getting to the point, I'm like, I can't even eat everything that Lochi's prescribed me. So, and there was a lot of food in that as well. So
Yeah.
I think that's a big misconception with the Isagenix program, that we don't eat. And I love how you said it's very complimentary.
Yes.
Which,
Yes. Especially with Josh cooking, because he makes even the simple meals look amazing.
doesn't he?
But yeah, absolutely. It is a wonderful compliment. I've always said, look, if it were that you were eating a sort of fairly average diet and you're on your shakes, you're going to get you might get a sort of average to good sort of result. If you combine great food and great nutrition system with some great training, I can't even predict your results. What could happen is such an exciting prospect. That for me is what I need to pass to people, because at the end of the day, predictable results come from I suppose just doing the things that most people do. When you've got a really great product and a great system, the body can do some amazing things. So yeah, and I think that's the exciting part of any sort of body transformation, isn't it? Seeing what happens, when the body is in a great state. It performs. It goes to work. Sorry?
Functions the way it's meant to when it's in a healthy
Yeah,
state.
absolutely. Yeah.
It's interesting you say that, because you write programs and incorporate, you're very much about body transformations, and some people will come to us wanting to start the program, but they come from a base of I don't do any exercise,
Cool.
and I use the program if I don't exercise. And I'm not sure what you say to them, but I like to say, look, let's get your body healthy. And incorporate a walk a week or 2 walks a week, great, but it is still going to work, like you said. But when you incorporate the putting in some training, it's next level. And I guess for me, I can say 4.5 years ago when I first tried, our wedding was 6 weeks away, so I was a bride on a mission. And and prior to that, I was eating right, I was working out a lot, and I was just getting frustrated because I'd lost weight, but I wasn't getting the results that I wanted. And as soon as I put the products into my body as I should, I was still training, I got phenomenal results. Like you said, you don't even know what's going to happen when you start putting the training component in with it. And I know that for sure it was using the system properly, because I was clean beforehand.
Yeah.
I was training hard, eating clean. So
it's really interesting there too, Dee, because you find that people that have come from a very clean eating and healthy lifestyle are often people that, once they do try the products, become very passionate about being able to promote it from that space, right? Because I mean it's great that anybody can have a wonderful experience, but when you've got people that are experienced with that lifestyle, and that's why we've got a lot of health professionals that that did have very solid backgrounds, whether it be it nutrition or just being able to eat healthy or naturopaths or whatever, they considered themselves at that point very healthy and very educated about how to get the most from their bodies. And then they found this, and now they had to kind of learn a whole new way of thinking, because inevitably the results then caused them to think a bit differently. I had to learn about cleansing, talking to Danny Catania, when she first got involved. She said, I'm a dietitian. I didn't know anything about Chinese medicine, and we've got some of that as well being incorporated into the plan. So, it's, whatever works, that's the magic of it, right?
Yeah, and you touched on that, with the cleansing, the intermittent fasting, because that is a big component of the Isagenix program. And intermittent fasting is popular now.
Absolutely.
But what I love about the Isagenix system is that it's supported intermittent fasting. So tell me a little bit about, how you can explain how the intermittent fasting works within the Isagenix program.
So the fasting is set up to give your digestive system and to a rest, give your digestive system a rest, and to give the body a different sort of we call it cleansing. Okay, so it gives the body a chance to be able to reset, basically. It's the best way that I could explain it. We produce a wonderful amount of growth hormone off the back end of it. We get this lovely surge of energy, and our body can go to work and being able to better itself after an intermittent fast. Isagenix makes it much easier for that fast to occur by being able to give us products to support that process, because it can be quite a harsh process. It's not an easy process for the body to take on board. Naturally, the body kind of bucks against it because we're going without something that we're used to, being able to fuel our bodies with every single day. So when we attempt a fast, for some people, it might be a little bit scary, especially for people that are used to eating quite often. But being able to have the products that steady your blood sugar levels, to be able to have the products that allow a cleanse to occur without feeling, really quite low or down, as best as it possibly can, well then, hey, these are great tools for us to be able to make this process a lot easier to get through. So we've always supported intermittent fasting within Isagenix, but it only became cool really probably the last few years, and Isagenix have been doing it for what, it's 12 years, so plus years. So there you go.
Knew what he was doing. And it's funny
because, sorry.
When I started and it was like cleanse day, what do you mean I don't eat? Like, I'm Italian.
Yeah. You're Italian.
I'm going to be angry. And I really did. And I started a blog in my first 30 days, and I was like, I'm going to write about this. If it's crap, it's going to write about it. If it's good, I'm going to write about it. I remember the entry on my first cleanse, I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, I eat pizza and like as if I'm not going to eat today. But what I found was it is a challenge, especially for me, because I was like, well, hang on, I've come from it was something I'd never done. So it was new. And then as I did my second one and my third one, I was like, this is great, but I was feeling awesome. I was like, hang on a minute. I thought I'd be feeling depleted and exhausted and hangry, but I wasn't. I was feeling bizarrely fantastic. And I was like, okay, then that's when I knew there was something fundamentally different about the program, because instead of just cutting supply out for a day or two, I was nourishing my body with the products that we've got for the cleanse period. So, it's changed everything, especially the way I think. And you said before, people who come off the background of who are fit and healthy. Now, when I was training before my wedding, I didn't enjoy going to the gym at 6:30. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
But it became something that I did enjoy. So, it really is a system that allows ordinary people who don't really like going to the gym to become that. And, I really enjoy that. Now, we were saying this week, I can't wait to be able to get back to exercise properly. Once the physio gives me the go ahead.
Could I say something there just quickly there? Because I definitely agree with what you're saying there with people that don't have that solid fitness background. That's something that I had to really change in my thought process as well too. When I would take on new clients that would be interested just in the Isagenix program, naturally I'd just come in with, okay, then we need to exercise. But if that's not what a person was searching for, and they would say to me, look, I just want to do this product first, and I just want to see how this goes. More and more, I saw people going on the products, getting to the end of, say, 30 days and saying, you know what, I actually feel like exercising. Etc. And it just became sort of a natural transition through to wanting to exercise now, because there was energy there. They were feeling much better about themselves, and maybe they felt much more comfortable with the way they looked as well too. So yes, definitely agree there.
You've absolutely nailed exactly how it made me feel, because it really was a challenge for me to be getting to the gym. The 6:30 classes, I was dragging myself out of bed, and then I had so much energy, but then I enjoyed going, and it went well. I didn't just lose the weight from my wedding, like it kept going. I entered in 16-week challenge, the following year. I looked way better 8 months after my wedding. Go figure. I wish I'd came earlier, but it's become a way of life now. And then that's, then when I did your program last year, I was excited again to get back into, well, what can I do if I do it properly? But in between, for 4.5 years, it's been a lifestyle for me, and it's something that I think ordinary people can go through ebbs and flows and train at a enjoyable level. They can take it up a level if they want,
Yeah.
but it's something they can incorporate in whatever state. Even if they're pregnant or breastfeeding, they can use some of the program and do that. So yeah, it's really good stuff. So why? We've kind of covered that, so maybe I won't ask that. All right, let me know, how can you explain how impurities and toxicity actually impacts our body?
How does it impact our body? Well, firstly, we can't burn fat that's holding any sort of impurities. So we know this, and this is often something that people that do go on the Isagenix products for the first time will experience, being able to burn fat potentially in areas that they've found quite difficult to burn fat in previously. Not that our body takes fat from one specific place, but it generally tends to avoid being able to break down fat that is highly impure, so it has toxins through it. So when you'll see this in a lot of obese or overweight people as well too, when a body does get a chance to actually burn off toxic fat, you probably find yourself getting quite sick. It's a struggle. It's where a lot of people, when they're losing weight, especially if they're quite overweight, they may experience getting sick very early on in their transformation because of that fact. So ideally, obviously the Isagenix products allows us to be able to circulate these toxins without making it such a toxic state that we feel super sick. Sometimes people do feel a little bit unwell to the early stages of their cleansing for that same reason. But because of the wonderful nutrition as well too, it seems to balance it out very well. So the body's in a much more healthy state to be able to see yourself through. And inevitably now, once you've started to deplete this toxic fat, you're now starting to really get some really great body change as well too. Not to mention the fact that when we're holding lots of toxins in our body, it may actually impede our productivity as well too, our performance, of course, even just getting through the day, our energy levels, etc. And this is where a lot of people explain it like that we were in a fog sort of a state where you can feel that your clarity of thought is so much more precise, and things seem so much different. And if you look at the science of it, it's quite fascinating too. And I always recommend that documentary Eat Fast and Live Longer, the one that plays out on Vimeo. Not that it's an Isagenix documentary, but instead it's just a little bit to do with the science of what's happening when your body is going through a fast. And it's just remarkable being able to understand what's happening in the brain and the activity that's going on when you're cleansing, and how it increases, brain activity. So when I watched that film, I felt so much better about cleansing, because, I wouldn't just be thinking, oh, geez, I need to eat. I'd be thinking, my brain is seeking out being able to become more efficient and effective. So my hunting brain can find some food from somewhere, you know what I mean? I'm evolving sort of, through this process. So it became so much more of something that I enjoyed, rather than this concept of, I've got to cleanse and this is going to be horrible,
I think I'll be sharing that link with my new cleansers when they get to day, the end of the day or day 2, and they're like, oh, I feel like I want a hamburger. I'm like, no, watch this, then you'll understand why.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And, would you agree as well too, the people that have been cleansing for the longest all say the same thing, is that really it's a psychological thing to get through. As much as you feel so much during that period that, what's happening or what's being affected physically, being psychologically prepared to get through that is the most important thing. When you learn to be strong and to get through that cleanse, then it becomes seemingly easy after that. You become a bit of a ninja.
Yeah, and the feeling after, like you said, is you can't describe it, and it's not something that you often expect. And I very much experienced that. It was like a fog that was lifted, and for someone who was very focused on just the weight loss, but the energy came, the mental clarity came, the better sleep came. That for sure was a result of using the program properly, including my cleansers. The other thing is, and you mentioned earlier that the guy had said, oh, Lochi, what are you doing? Because he'd noticed that the results were so phenomenal. And over at Northside Wellness, it must have been about 3 months ago now, I was heavily pregnant. there was a trainer there and he was doing body scans, and he was not affiliated with Isagenix at all. He had never used the products, and he said, there's something about you guys. Everyone who's using the program has a far less visceral fat, and they lose visceral fat, which is, you were talking about toxic fat before, which is very much that feeling. He didn't have to say that. Like, he's not affiliated in any way, shape or form. So,
well, visceral fat's the most dangerous fat that we have, of course, because it's lining our organs, and the body naturally chooses to be able to burn body fat from the visceral area before anywhere else if it is a problem for that particular person. So we can't spot reduce, we can't choose where we take fat from. However, the body will naturally turn to break down visceral fat if it feels threatened, right? First, that's where the body will focus on. So the fact that that's what's happening straight away means the body's in great state to be able to then obviously limit the risk of anything harmful to the body. So the visceral fat starts to break down first. So that's a sign that the body's in check. That's why that's so rewarding to hear.
Yeah, it is. So the science is there, it works. There's, peer-reviewed papers, and, you yourself, you've done a lot of your own studies, and you want to know yourself what's involved. So what would you say to someone who is a health professional? They might be a PT, just let's focus on a fitness professional who is in that skeptical phase where you were initially. What would you say to them?
I think with fitness professionals, what makes a fitness professional great at what they do is a strong philosophy in what they believe in. This is how they encourage other people to come and train with them, or to be guided by them. That's what makes them great. Okay, so if they have a strong philosophy that they're worried about, I suppose, going against by taking on board something like this, remember, at the end of the day, the most important thing as health professionals that we do is that we help our people achieve what it is that they want to achieve. Okay, so the thing is, you can only see so many results before, as a health professional, I feel, particularly if you're seeing other health professionals utilizing the products, before you kind of pull up and you go, what the most important thing is my client. And at the end of the day, if my clients are sticking to a great program, they're enjoying the process and they're able to get phenomenal results, maybe it's time for me to be able to just give something a try that potentially might be beneficial to my clients. If I were to reflect on some of the things that have come and gone in the industry over the last 20 years, I mean, goodness gracious, there's no shame in being able to evolve your knowledge to something that you don't know anything about, that potentially might change the course of your career, might change the course of someone else's life and their own training, because, we are not going to take something on board purely because we don't know enough about it. Hey, it's time for us just to give something a go. You can be a silent user. We've got this in-house Isagenix concept, which we call a silent user, which is a person that comes on board that doesn't have to just go and nag their family or friends, and they just want to test it for themselves. And these silent users inevitably come out of the closet, and tell the world that they're on this, because they are so passionate now about the products and what they could potentially do. But you could be that person. There's no shame in being able to jump in as a silent user and see for yourself, because at the end of the day, like I said, what a great product is. How good your body can feel, and if you can take your body to that place, well then, hey, don't ignore the signs. Take these things on board, and why not give it a go.
I was that silent user. I remember going for a coffee with one of my girlfriends a few days later, and I'm like, hey, listen, I'm actually doing this thing, so I'm not drinking coffee, but don't tell anyone.
Yeah, I definitely did that.
But that's the thing, I have people say to me, not all the time, but often, oh dear, no, I don't want to tell anyone, I don't want to sell it. I'm like, cool, just put it in your body and feel amazing. They're like, I can do that. I'm like, of course. Of course you can, just feel amazing. And the cool thing is 82% of everyone who used the program are just happy product users, which says a lot about the program and the products, and that they actually work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, amazing. Well, I have come towards the end of my questions, but I have a very important question for you to end with. If you were going to have dinner, there's a round table of 4 of you, so you can invite 3 friends of 3 people that have been instrumental, super inspirational for you throughout your, let's say, 20-year career within the profession. Who would you be having dinner with?
People that have been inspirational.
People would be inspirational, people you would love, someone you would love to have dinner, like any 3 people.
Yeah. Any 3 people that I'd love to have dinner with. Oh, that would have to be Elon Musk. I just finished his biography. I don't think he'd be great company, but I think he'd be interesting. Anthony Kiedis from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, because I think he's just awesome and passionate and great. And Tony Robbins, because I think he would make a great host.
He would.
Give it everything.
And you'd be making sure that their meals were on point too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that'd be interesting too.
I'm so grateful for the time we've spent together, Lochi. Like, it's been really, really fantastic and great insight from your part, because I know that, I'm just an ordinary person who had great results, but for me to hear when people like yourselves are on board, elite athletes, Olympians, nutritionists and dietitians, I know that if people like yourself are using it and passionate, it must be good. So if it's good enough for you, it's good enough for me. But it was really great to hear that. And I know it'll really help a lot of people as well. So thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your week. It's been great to catch up with you.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Loch.
See
ya.
Have a great one.